Eleanor Hayes had always said the same thing to her son when he was growing up. Blood is thick, Marcus, but poison runs thicker if you let it. At 71, she still lived in the same Buckhead Georgian she and Robert had bought in 1998. White columns, black shutters, a porch swing that creaked like memory itself. Robert had passed 9 years earlier from a stroke that came without warning. Marcus had been 30 then. Now 39, he wore custom suits, drove a leased Mercedes he couldn't quite afford, and smiled the way men do when they think no one is counting the lies. The first warning arrived in a text at 11:42 p.m. from Sarah. Mom Eleanor, fever won't break. Marcus says it's nothing, but I'm shaking. He's at a dinner meeting. Can you please call him? Sarah never asked for help. In 9 years of marriage, she had sent thank you cards for grocery runs, baked Eleanor's favorite pecan pie every Christmas, and never once raised her voice. Eleanor replied immediately, I'm coming. Don't eat or drink anything else tonight. She left her lake house in North Georgia at midnight, drove the 3 hours straight, arrived just before dawn, used her key. The house was silent except for the low hum of the wine fridge. Sarah was in the master bedroom, curled fetal on top of the duvet, skin gray, breathing shallow and wet. An empty glass of water sat on the nightstand beside an open bottle of over-the-counter painkillers, generic brand, the kind Marcus always bought in bulk to save money. Marcus was not in the bed. Eleanor found him in the study downstairs, asleep in the leather chair, laptop open, screen still glowing. The browser tab showed a messaging app. Thread titled, Lila Don't Delete. Latest message 3:14 a.m. She asleep yet? Come to the condo. I bought that red lingerie you like. Eleanor photographed the screen with her phone, closed the laptop quietly, and went back upstairs. She touched Sarah's forehead. Fire. Pulse thready. I'm taking you to the hospital, she whispered. Sarah's eyes cracked open. He said, Tomorrow he'll take me. Tomorrow might be too late. Eleanor bundled her into a blanket, carried her to the car herself. Sarah weighed almost nothing now, and drove to St. Mary's. The diagnosis Dr. Patel met them in the ER blood drawn. Chest x-ray, CT scan. 4 hours later, he pulled Eleanor into a consultation room. Mrs. Hayes, this is advanced pneumonia with complicating factors. We're seeing elevated lead levels in her blood. Chronic exposure, not acute. Traces of arsenic compounds as well, low but consistent over months. This isn't environmental. Someone introduced it deliberately, likely through ingestion, food, water, supplements. Eleanor felt the room tilt, then steady. Poisoned. Slowly, methodically. The kind of thing that could be passed off as poor health or stress. She's lucky you brought her in tonight. Sarah was moved to ICU, intubated, antibiotics running wide open. Chelation started. Eleanor sat beside the bed holding Sarah's hand. A nurse brought Sarah's purse. Inside, tucked in a side pocket, was a small leather journal, edges worn, pages filled in Sarah's neat handwriting. Eleanor read, October 9th last year. Marcus cooked pasta. Tasted strange, like metal. He laughed when I mentioned it, said I watched too many crime shows. December 22nd. New water pitcher from him for Christmas. Filtered better, he said. Stomach cramps started that week. March 5th. Asked about increasing life insurance. Said it was for peace of mind. I said no. He got angry. First time he raised his voice in years. July 18th. Fever again. He told me to stop complaining. You're always sick lately. Heat in the house turned down to 62 degrees Fahrenheit to save on bills while he bought new golf clubs. Last entry 4 days ago. I think he wants the money. $2.3 million policy. House in both names, but he's been asking about trusts. I'm scared to drink the water he brings. If anything happens, Mom Eleanor, please look after my sister's kids and tell everyone I tried. Eleanor closed the journal, her jaw set like concrete. She called Victoria Lang at 7:08 a.m. Victoria, pull every document, the 1998 trust, the 2015 codicil Robert and I added, all insurance policies, property deeds, bank ledgers, and hire the best private investigator in Atlanta. I need everything on Marcus. Bank transfers, phone records, locations. Yesterday. The performance. Marcus arrived at the hospital at 11:20 a.m., Ty loosened, eyes convincingly red. Mom, he said, voice breaking as he hugged her. I can't believe this. I should have stayed home. Work kept me out. Eleanor let the embrace last 3 seconds. I saw the messages to Lila, she said flatly. Marcus stiffened. What messages? I photographed them while you slept in the study. Color left his face. Mom, it's not serious. Just talk. Stupid. I love Sarah. Love doesn't poison someone for insurance money. He laughed once, sharp, panicked. Poison? That's insane. The doctors are wrong. She's always been fragile. The toxicology says otherwise. Marcus rubbed his face. I didn't do this. I swear. Then prove it, Eleanor said. One chance. 72 hours. You pay every test, every specialist, every private room out of your personal brokerage account. No touching joint funds, no dipping into the trust. You stay here. You confess to Sarah when she wakes, if she wakes. You end every affair, delete every contact, transfer no more money to anyone else, and you sign an affidavit admitting financial neglect. He stared. Or I invoke the moral turpitude clause Robert insisted on. Infidelity, endangerment, fraud against family. Anyone triggers full revocation. The estate, house, $4.8 million in liquid assets. The $2.3 million policy reverts entirely to Sarah. Irrevocable. You walk away with the clothes on your back. Marcus's mouth worked soundlessly. You can't prove I poisoned her. I don't need criminal proof, Eleanor said. This is trust law, my rules, my money. Tears came, real or rehearsed. I'll do it. I'll fix everything. The cracks day one. He performed, sat by the bed, spoke softly, asked intelligent questions of Dr. Patel, wired $62,000 from his personal account for expedited specialists. Eleanor monitored every transaction via the banking app Victoria had set up. Day 2. The facade frayed. He stepped out for air. Gone 2 hours. Returned smelling of bourbon and jasmine perfume. Phone vibrated non-stop. Eleanor showed him hospital garage CCTV stills. Him in the Mercedes, windows steamed, a woman's silhouette in the passenger seat. Stress relief, he muttered. I was breaking. You were celebrating, Eleanor corrected. That night she reviewed the PI's first packet. Bank wires, $71,000 to Lila Monroe over 19 months, labeled consulting fees, hotel receipts, a leased condo in Midtown, phone pings placing him at the condo 6 nights out of the last 10 while Sarah lay sick at home. Water filter analysis, lead acetate residue inside the cartridge. Marcus had replaced himself last fall. Matching compound found in a small vial in his golf bag trunk. Eleanor stared at the photos for a long minute. Then she walked to Sarah's room. The awakening. Sarah opened her eyes on the morning of day 3. Hoarse whisper, Mom, Eleanor. I'm here, sweetheart. Marcus rushed forward, tears instant. Baby, I'm so sorry. I was awful. Sarah pulled her hand free slowly. I heard you, she rasped. Every night you came home late. Every time you said the water tasted fine. Every time you told me I was imagining the cramps. Marcus looked to Eleanor. Tell her I changed. Tell her. Eleanor stepped between them. Victoria is in the lobby with documents. The Buckhead House transfers to Sarah effective today. Clear title, mortgage satisfied from estate funds. The $2.3 million policy pays to her. The trust dissolves your interest entirely. The DA has the toxicology and financials. Attempted murder charges are filed. You're under arrest as soon as you leave this floor. Marcus staggered back. Mom, no. Please, I'm your son. You chose to erase your wife for money. That erased you from being my son. 2 Fulton County deputies entered, cuffs ready. Marcus lunged toward the bed. Sarah, tell them I love you. Sarah turned her face to the window. They took him in silence. His shouts echoed down the corridor until the elevator doors shut. 6 months later, Sarah healed, slowly, stubbornly. Chelation cleared the metals. Therapy rebuilt the rest. She kept the Buckhead house but painted every room light gray and soft blue. No dark wood, no leather. She started a small online shop restoring vintage books. Eleanor sold half her lake property and bought a cottage nearby. They ate dinner together 4 nights a week. Sarah learned to make Eleanor's pecan pie. Eleanor taught her how to read balance sheets. One crisp November afternoon, Eleanor drove past the Peachtree car detailing shop. Marcus was there, work release program, orange vest, scrubbing hubcaps under supervision. Parole hearing in 4 months if model behavior continued. He looked up as her Audi passed. Eyes met. He lifted a wet hand, half wave, half surrender. Eleanor kept driving. Steady speed. No mirror glance. That evening on the porch swing, Sarah handed her tea. "You didn't just save me," Sarah said quietly. "You gave me back my life." Eleanor touched the silver locket, still held Robert's photo, and now a tiny new one of Sarah smiling. "You wrote it all down," Eleanor replied. "That journal was the real evidence. I just made sure the truth had teeth." Sarah smiled, small, real, alive. "Family isn't always born," she said. "No," Eleanor agreed. "Sometimes it's chosen, and sometimes it's fought for." Months later, an unmarked envelope reached the county jail.